Hello, Professor Mares. This is Julio Torres again. Show them my audience, please. That's my audience, two people, and there's a third person right here. Okay, here, and
Cameraman.
the camera woman will be the fourth person for the speech. Okay, let's talk about Steve Jobs. It had turned out to be a yearly practice to commemorate Steve Jobs' birthday each February. The internet would honor his innovations and birthday by reposting the infamous speech this extremely private man gave at Stanford University. The commencement lecture to the university's class of 2005 has grown to be an innovative communication that Steve will always be remembered by. Unfortunately, that birthday was his final. Nevertheless, his demise can be best thought of a means or approach to bringing in life to a new innovative world. There is no better way to honor his life and work than to bear witness of the objectives, inspirational moments, and innovations used and brought about by the man. Just as he stated during the commencement lecture, death is the best invention of life. His demise should be looked upon as a window for effective implementation of his work and future works as well. While Jobs has at all times been an innovative theorist, his adolescence was full of disappointments concerning his official academic performance. Here is some information that very many people are not aware of concerning the early life of inventor Steve Jobs. During his grade school years, he was a prankster who forced his fourth grade tutor to induce him to revise through simple bribes. Afterwards, he proved to improve his academic performance. Nevertheless, school officials considered skipping him straight to junior high school. Unfortunately, his parents turned down the suggestion. Please note, I am not stressing the effect of teachers bribing students to read. Instead, I am attempting to illustrate the level of novelty and intellectual advance that Jobs had straight from his youth. A quick jump of his early academic years to his first inventions reveals his interest in computer-based inventions. In 1997, which was the return of Jobs to Apple, a company that he co-founded with Steve Wozniak and Mike Mercola, the world hesitated on whether Apple was able to recover its once prevalent position. Steve was responsible for all the romance and enchantment behind the name and label Apple, its products and legacy. Today, I stand in front of you to speak about the main features of the inventions and operating strategies he used at office as the chief executive of Apple. Steve was the only founder amongst the executive team to disintegrate into a medley of puzzling names and model figures. The pattern of trading decisions he made are the crucial features of his management. These decisions assisted in returning Apple to the public interest and profitability. Currently, Apple is one of the leading corporations of the world, measured in terms of capitalization. This is such an achievement brought about by the decisions made by Jobs. He is worthy of much recognition for his accomplishments because the consultations and civic appearances throughout the past have proved explanation for the thinking behind top management of Apple. The leadership technique used by Steve was one of a kind in comparison with the rest of the executive management. Beginning from the 70s, Steve has had faith in his product. Jobs stated that his attitude towards his product had to be great. I suggest a similar trend towards all work innovators and aspirers because lack of faith in your work proves a lagging indicator. An enterprise requires a great model or product. All the models and inventions that Steve came up with were great. Maximum utilization of one's intellect is more important than lining up the business with great staff, name, insignia, and slogan. Therefore, Steve ought to not invest in his inventions before the 70s until they had a wow effect on the consumers. Steve believed that it is never too late to do things correctly since the consumers are not aware of what the next big invention is. The suspense can be utilized to the maximum. As an admirer, I believe the most Apple can accomplish is second class. The moment consumers were looking forward to a compatible MacBook, Steve was busy using the iPad. The industry was blindsided, therefore creating a novel product criterion. The tablet market is dominated by Apple, making every other tablet manufacturer try and draw near. Often has Steve faced confrontation with Apple critics that he stole the idea of the graphical client Edge launched by Xerox Palo Alto Research Center known as PARC. If you ask me, I will quote Spanish portrait artist Pablo Picasso. Good artist copy, great artist steal. Steve Jobs admitted obtaining the idea of the interface from PARC, and to some extent its appropriation had been used as proof of its efficiency. Admitting to stealing the graphical interface concept was a novel thing for Steve to do. However, people do not realize that he was referring to the truth that the associates of the Macintosh team came from all walks of life. Hence, the idea of the interface remains a great invention, not thought but developed by Steve Jobs. In conclusion, despite buying Pixar's success as Next Inc., the success of Apple was initiated by Steve Jobs, the man who is a tribute to fortifying the corporation during the 90s. In the past, numerous people have felt that Steve's compelling leadership and peculiarities were behind several issues that the company encountered. At Apple, he was viewed as a leader whose brilliancy and optimistic visualization of giving computers as a gadget capable of changing the world. Today, I view and present him as a man who has attracted millions of talents through his management methodologies, inclined towards throwing outbursts, criticizing, and crushing workers, who were in conflict with his concept. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
The red button.
¿Qué pasó, ma?
The red button.
I did.